Previously on Near Mint Condition.
Symbiote.
The symbiote, whatever.
Welcome back, Minties, to Near Mint Condition. Today, I get the pleasure of reviewing Alien Reality Symbiote Spider-Man. Lots of fun. Please stay tuned. Symbiote Spider-Man, Alien Reality, is a follow-up to this. Just Symbiote Spider-Man. And thank you to the folks at Marvel, David Gabriel, for sending this advanced copy to review. This does come out Wednesday, August the 12th. And retails for $15.99. It's rated teen. Collects issues numbers 1 through 5 of Alien Reality Symbiote Spider-Man. Oh yeah, I'm doing good saying symbiote 3 times in a row without getting confused. Okay, so to jump in with a little bit of a summary. But before the summary, just to let you know, these events take place in the past, after Secret Wars, when Spider-Man originally donned the black costume. So it's really fun. It's like, here's some more stories that could have happened back there by Peter David, who did write some of the stories back in those days. Most famously, the death of Jean D. Wolfe. Before we go any further, I need you to be aware. Spoilers! I don't know what this means. It's just a motion with my hands. Get your attention. Okay, now to the summary. Spider-Man, it hits off with Spider-Man fighting Kraven, which, I mean, he's not necessarily one of my favorite villains, but their fights are always really cool. And he gets knocked out. Oh no, what's he gonna do? Well, the symbiote's gonna fight for him, and I thought that part was really cool. I got a little confused. It felt awkward to me reading it the first time through when all of a sudden reality changed. And that was due to the word of God being stolen. This relic that magic text can change reality. I was like, wait, because two things happened right after the other. The symbiote took over, and then all of a sudden he's in a different reality. It just is probably just me personally. So Peter David, like I said, he wrote these stories and hits off in issue 1 with already some of his, quippy lines, humor of Peter saying, like, I hate magic, just, very deadpan. Wong, when he comes to the door, because he's got to find Doctor Strange, help me, I'm in a different reality. Peter's trying to make jokes about magical objects and people, and Wong gives these deadpan answers correcting him. Be like, no, Cthulhu's really over in the blah, blah, blah. Then we get Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin is the sorcerer. Well, no, he's not the sorcerer supreme. He's like second level assistant. Okay, but Hobgoblin is one of my favorite villains. I don't know why. I like it better than Green Goblin. I think it really boils down to the costume design. I don't know. And so, Spider-Man has to, fight him and stuff like that. He's got to, figure out what is going on with this other reality. Why are these villains? Morpheus shows up, and these villains are like, hey, we changed reality, we're gonna get you. Okay, so, not Morpheus. Not the Sandman of the epic, aptly named Sandman. Morbius comes in, they have a cool fight too. Oh, but before that, right, it's another reality. He's got to go see who? Aunt May, and then for some reason he's surprised that Uncle Ben's alive. Of course he is. Oh, and that's messed up. When he has this really cool fight, again, really nice fight scenes in this, with the Hobgoblin, and, Aunt May's dead. And Uncle Ben's like, you killed my May! And I'm like, oh, golly. So Peter is scarred again, and even though he hates magic, he's like, let's go Doctor Strange. They go to, train for a year in this time chamber Dragon Ball Z-esque thing to learn defensive spells. Then it was a lot of fun to see Spider-Man using magic. Oh, there's a cool cover you'll see later of him with, Doctor Strange's mantle cloak thing. Oh, that's cool. It felt like a really fun fanfic. It's like, let's mix all these things together. Now, Doctor Strange can hold his own, even though he has been stripped of Sorcerer Supreme, because Mordo now is the Sorcerer Supreme in this reality. And it's hilarious. Okay, Peter David's got Doctor Strange. He can't fight this magic, right? he just sprays Mordo in the face with some mace. It says, "It's mace, you arrogant ass." Love it. I'm a sucker for those quips that you go to the next panel or turn the page, right? And it just hits you like that. Oh, by the way, Natasha is the black cat or the red cat is in there, and I guess she was boring because I completely forgot her in the summary. She's in there. Yay. Okay, so they've got to go get the Word of God from the Nightmare Realm, go hide in Nightmare Realm. And Nightmare gives Peter's nightmares about J. Jonah Jameson, which I thought was pretty funny. And then, of course, Gwen Stacy. Nightmare agrees to help them because he doesn't want the Word of God in the Nightmare Realm and other people trying to get it and trying to take over his realm. However, of course, you can't really trust the guy. He starts to try to seduce Spider-Man as Spider-Man's using the Word of God to reconstruct reality and blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. Tries to seduce him into thinking like, well, you could be God, and here again, you can choose. It's implied, like, oh, what if Uncle Ben was alive, and all that kind of stuff. Like, okay. Thankfully, it doesn't go that route. It's the symbiote. He takes control of Peter when they come back and fights, and it's really cool. And why do villains get surprised? They're like, no, you monster, you're fighting too violently. Like, you're doing the same thing. I don't know, I never got that. Why do villains do that? And again, I appreciate Peter David sequencing cool fights, but also adding in the humor. Wong, who was turned into a clapping cymbal monkey doll thingy, whacks Mordo upside the head with cymbals and calls him an ass. And there you go, and the fight's over. So let's take a look at this beautiful art by Greg Land. So, not just Greg Land on this book. We also have Jay Lyston doing the inking and Frank Dermata doing the coloring. Of course, Greg Land does use tracing, Photoshop, I don't know, whatever technique you want to call it, for, women and things like that. I really don't think about it when I'm reading it. Honestly, I'm looking at Spider-Man more, so. And the spider buggy, oh yeah. Has a cute part in this story. Oh, and you know what? I got confused. I thought that was Mary Jane. That makes sense, right? I don't know. It was Natasha. Yeah, let's just use somebody else. Doesn't have to always be Mary Jane. Alright, so. Oh, Hobgoblin looks so cool with the cloak on. Like, look at that. You've got Hobgoblin written in all dramatic, beautiful letters, and he's zooming towards them. Trying to avoid these crimson bands. Doctor Strange looking kind of hot there. Scraggly, old, and homeless. Oh, let me show you my favorite. Here's my favorite cover. He looks so cool. Here we have the symbiote fighting Morbius. Magic Spidey! I think it just suits him. It just fits him. Here's a nice splash page of Nightmare on his horse. The horse looks more badass than him. Precursor to Venom. Look at J. Jonah Jameson. Very nightmarish. Now, take a look at this. Yes, he probably used a light box, but the characters look different to me. However, I do have a touch of face blindness, and lots of people look the same to me. Like, genuinely. I have a hard time telling the difference between people. Awesome. All middle school. I'd sit and draw Venom's eyes. I thought I was so hardcore. Variant time, variant time. Variants that are homages to classic covers time. All right. I wish these were full pages. These little thumbnails don't do it justice. Don't do these justice. I think my favorite one is this one from Civil War, even though I didn't like that story. And that one's sweet too. Final thoughts. I give this an 8.5. It was a lot of fun. As I mentioned before, the humor, the pacing was excellent. Makes sense that this reminded me of my childhood because Peter David wrote some of those stories back then. It was complicated enough to be fun without being too convoluted, and really good pacing of the fight scenes. So yep, 8.5, very solid read. Please let us know in the comments below if you have read it, what you think of it. How do you pronounce symbiote? Do you get stuck on other characters that have to be pronounced a certain way, even though you learn that's really not the way you say the word? And please hit subscribe, like button, check us out on Patreon, Redbubble, and stay minty!